Students, you are now in your prep time. Your prep time has ended. With the magazine of 15 rounds making condition one weapon. Is the line ready? The line is ready. Shooters firing 5 rounds in a time limit of 60 seconds. Stand by. Contact.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pit Talk, Pulling Pits and Opinions with your host, Gunny G, where service members help service members, period. Follow, like, subscribe everywhere you get your podcast and on all social media platforms. Let me know how I'm doing. Any criticism is good criticism. I know you don't get paid to listen, and I don't get paid to run my mouth, so let's make it quick and snap it. We got a special guest by the name of Alex Ng. I hope I said that right, because I always look at the last name and I get confused. Alex, go ahead and say what's up to the listeners, where you're from, how long you served, what you're doing now, and family.
Okay, let me break it out to you in like a 1-minute elevator pitch. Okay, I grew up in the rough hood, Lower East Side, Manhattan, and then later on to Brooklyn, New York. Hi again, my name is Alex Ng, and with my lovely wife, we are blessed with 5 wonderful children. I'm a retired Marine Corps Master Arms, MOS 0811, Field Artillery Cannoneer. Nice. I'm a recipient of the Sergeant Major Pacific Award, if anyone knows about that. And I have 6 Iraqi campaign medals. So I'm like a permanent resident in Iraq. Since my retirement in 2018, I have been volunteering at several nonprofits that support the military and my family. This year, I had the honor of receiving the President's Volunteer Service Award. For something I do at one of the nonprofits I'm working at, the Relief Society, the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society. So I'm being awarded for some of the services I offer for the Marines and sailors and all the other military service members, which is financial assistance and financial education. And lastly, in a few years, I will start writing my autobiography. And it will be titled, and it might take maybe a decade to finish it, maybe until I'm 55, 60 years old. That's the best time to spread the wealth of life experience. Not some jokers writing the autobiography at 25 or 30 years old when they haven't seen life yet. So the title of this book will likely be The Marine Who Sold His Ferrari. I'm sure many of your folks heard about that book out there, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. So it's something like that. It's something like that, spiritual. Okay, that's my spiel.
That's awesome, Alex. I appreciate you taking the time to come on. I seen you on LinkedIn doing some big and good. I can't even talk this morning. Great stuff. And I had to have you on. And not only are you retired, but you volunteer. And then what you forgot one thing. You said you volunteer at the Navy or Marine Corps Relief Society, right?
Correct.
What made you go that route in volunteering there?
Oh, it's a long journey. It started out when I was a kid. Most of us grew up the same way, especially those in the enlisted ranks, learning about perseverance, resilience, at the beginning of life. In hindsight, looking back, financially, I'm freaking happy. But at the time, I felt like I was poor. Mm. I hope some of you could relate to that. Like growing up poor to us at a younger age means we don't have enough money, and why do other people have so much more things? Especially those people that grew up in the city, vice those folks that grew up in the country, small towns. Because we always think about Joneses. We always hear that phrase, keeping up with the Joneses. The more Joneses in your surroundings, the more stress going to be on you to try to keep up with them. So I grew up in New York City, so there are a lot of Joneses. So I see a lot of other people that have great wealth. So I compare my wealth to them. So low income for that area. If I was somewhere else with that same amount of income, like Iraq, I'm like in upper class. You see what I'm saying? So growing up in New York City, low income, I felt poor. Um, that came with a lot of benefits. Growing up poor, and all you need is a shelter over your head and food on the table 3 times a day. That's the only thing you need to train your perseverance and resilience. That's all you need. And I was fortunate to be in that type of environment in hindsight. But at the moment, it seems like every day sucked. Why this kid had a nice bike? Why that kid has a nice book bag? Why they change their shoes 3 times a year when I had to, buy new shoes 1 time a year before school starts and things like that. Why do they live in a nice neighborhood and I live in like the low income neighborhood where I have to walk so far, take public transportation to get to school? And between home and school, I face obstacles. I get beat up because kids will beat you up in the cities. Back then they see you wearing that shoes, that British Knights, that triple fat goose sweater. They want it. And they go grab that off your back. And fortunately, that's when training starts. You fight back in the city. You learn about perseverance. You learn about adversity. That's the place to be. But do I want my kids to live in that environment? Maybe not. Maybe it's just something similar to where I could control. Mm-hmm. And maybe something I could take them away from the comfort level just a little bit, but not to a point that will break them, that will cause them to have depression later on in life. So need to be a little bit careful about that. So it's back to the financial journey. From that point on, I want to make money. Going from poor to become some of the wealthy folks. I grew up watching all the luxurious stuff on TV, and I see movie stars going from home to school. You live in New York City, you'll see some of them. And I see the Ferraris rolling down the movie set, and I was like, wow, that's a nice car. And then later on, I learned about Enzo Ferrari, the racer, and that's my passion for racing started. And my idol, as far as racing, was Enzo Ferrari. So at that age, I told myself that if I ever become successful, I'm going to go buy one. I'm going to go buy one. And I did that. And we'll talk about that later on. Yeah. That's what my book is all about later on in life. The Marine who sold his Ferrari.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Wild, Alex.
So from that point on, I'm thinking about investing at a young age. In elementary school, I started collecting baseball cards, trying to look for that Mark McGwire rookie card so I could do a quick flip. Every money I save money by, birthdays, sometime from Chinese New Year, the red envelopes. But most of the time, I get most of my money from recycling soda cans. A nickel here, a nickel there. And after about 10 or 11, I have enough to buy a pack of baseball cards. The baseball cards with the bubble gum inside, tops, that type of stuff. So I buy them, I save them, collect them, and as soon as I get a nice card, I wait for a little bit and then just sell them for like 50 cents, $1. That was back in sixth grade. And when I went to middle school, that's when I started to collect comics, learning about the Marvel characters, the DCs, and I thought about investing over there. And I see it. I buy all these buyer's guide on collectibles, and I see the comics books been going up real quick. So I got into that at an early age. I have some of them today as well. It's still in my container in a climate control environment, so it doesn't age, it doesn't go brownish, so it keeps us grading. One of them is the first appearance of Wolverine in a Hulk 181. That one's at that current condition of 9.2 is worth like about 15 grand. No. So that could be something you could pass on to your kids. Here you go, son. Here's a comic book. Go buy yourself a Toyota, something.
That's crazy.
Exactly. But but I'm not gonna let them have it. And the way how I'm gonna raise my kid, we'll talk about later on of who I idolize and how I should raise the kids according to him. So that was middle school, comic books. In high school, that's when puberty took over. just go have fun, waste money, go play video games, skip school, and things like that. So the investment has a pause at that point in high school. It's all about going to find a part-time job, work, make some more money, get those Iowa stereo systems, get them Super Nintendos, cartridges, things like that. It's not like now you can download stuff for free online. Yeah, so that was high school, and then college came around. I went to a community college for a Bachelor of Business Administration. I did that for a year, didn't like it, so I took a break from school, went to work for 2 years, pulling cables, phone, computers, Cat 5, Cat 3s inside schools, usually work after hours, after school until midnight, good pay. Didn't want to leave it until after 2 years. Somehow I stumbled into a recruiting office and said to myself, hey, this sounds interesting. Let me try it out for 4 years. If I don't like it, oh well. If I, and if I don't do it, I'll regret it for life by not knowing what's on the other side. And so I went, and here I am. So I went in the Marine Corps with this financial mindset about being wealthy someday and be happy, because that's the most important thing. What's the purpose of having a lot of money when you're not happy? And so I know that I'm going on a journey to set a realistic goal, like a goal, a net worth goal that will make me happy. Because I learned about during that 1 year of college, from my finance professor, is that everyone has a different goal as far as wealth. A kid in Iraq, his net worth goal, when I say net worth goal, it means that once I reach that net worth, I start working for income. I will have enough to set me for life, and I'm going to go enjoy doing things what I like to do. So a kid in Iraq, when he becomes an adult, $100,000, that could be his net worth goal. Compared to San Diego, might be $5 million. Or $1 million for some folks in Huntsville, Alabama. It just depends where you want to retire and also your lifestyle. So that was part of my journey while in the Marine Corps. Just initially just do 4 years and get out. But during those 4 years, I'm taking benefits. I'm taking advantage of everything. But since I don't have the people to tell me all the resources, I just guess, hey, there might be resources for tuition assistance. I used it. Take a couple classes here and there, because that's one thing I recommend for the Marines. Education is number one, and the Marine Corps is paying you for it. And that investment will last for life. It will stay with you for life, that diploma. And you guys heard it numerous times. So invest in yourself first, as always. And at the same time, during my first enlistment, that's when I learned a lot of lessons, financial lessons. One most important thing is don't trust anyone. Even the folks that are closest to you, that you love dearly, that you fought along each other, in combat. Yeah.
You're always broke. You're always broke.
Yeah. So I'm glad I learned all these lessons early. However, I learned some later on in life as well. So the first lesson I learned was from my old staff NCO. I was a sergeant at the time. This senior staff NCO retired from the Marine Corps. I served them for 2 years, deployed with them. We trust him. His MOS proficiency is like up the roof. But he became a financial advisor out in town. So back then, they don't really have like base restrictions, like whoever want to come in and try to help out the Marines, they allow them to come, especially if you're a buddy of the Sergeant Major. Sergeant Major will invite all the buddies to come in and just sell garbage. Now it's totally different. And now you have to go through the base CG just to get on base to advertise your business. So back then, the senior staff NCO, long story short, he ripped me off. He sold me whole life insurances. He sold me expensive mutual funds. He also went ahead and took half of that initial investment and put it in his pocket. For 1 year. For 1 year, he took half of that investment. So I invested $100 into a 5% commission front-loaded mutual funds So right off the bat, I already lost $5 for investing into that mutual fund, $100. So this mofo is taking like 50%, $50. So I'm investing 100, only $45 in invested. I found this out 3 years later on when I was taking courses for my bachelor's of finance. That class was on the fundamentals of investment, and I learned about all this investments vehicles. And then I just found out, and I gave him a call. I called him up, no one answered. I called to the business, they're like, no, he no longer works here. So lesson learned. So
Lesson learned.
immediately I sold all that stuff. I sold the whole life insurance. Well, not sold, I just canceled it. I got rid of everything and just follow the instructions from my college professor, a certified financial planner who's working as a finance professor part-time. So if anyone out there that's looking for a financial mentor, and if you can't find one, your college professors, those are the best mentors. That's for awesome. Finance and also for accounting. My first mentor for accounting was my income tax professor. He taught us to do income tax, and he also certified us to do income tax in a certain state. So and for his day job, he's a CPA.
Interesting. I tell you what, Alex, you come from a background where, obviously low income, they don't have the things that you need all the time, and you join the Marine Corps and you join chaos, anxiety, and stress. And your MOS at the time, the MOS you did was also pretty stressful, right? Always in the field, potentially always forward deployed. Obviously, as you can tell with Iraq, there's a lot of things going on there, and your experience, your resilience brought you from point A to point B now in finances in terms of what you volunteer for. Can you tell us about why you volunteer at the Navy and Marine Corps Relief Society and what you see throughout the day-to-day without giving too many specifics, because I know that you can't give too many, right? But what do you see? What are some common trends in terms of military members for obviously Navy and Marine Corps, because that's what you see. Actually, you probably see maybe some Army, maybe some Air Force. I don't know, depending on where you work at. You work on Pendleton?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me some common trends. What do you see throughout the day? Like, hey, this is what I'm going through. Can you help me out? Right. This is what I'm going through. Can you help me out? Without giving too many specifics and advice, speak towards that. Like, hey, this is pretty common, but this is how you can get out of it.
I would love to. I could go all day on this.
No, not all day. I don't have all day. I don't have all day.
Okay. The Navy Marine Corps Relief Society. Yes, I volunteered over there for 3 years, and I could speak more about them, not from the Relief Society standpoint, from when I was the Command Financial Specialist standpoint, and that was during my active duty times. So, as you've heard, my bachelor's in finance.
Yeah.
And before I checked into my unit back in 2014, that was 511, and I was a master sergeant at the time. So before coming to the battalion, I was pretty savvy with the financial industry, with an education background in Bachelor of Finance and also a Master's of Business Administration. So with an MBA, I'm savvy into like reading financial statements, the corporate levels, and things like that. So when the battalion commander heard that, they're like, oh, good. You'll be heading to the next Command Financial Specialist course, and you'll be one of the battalion's Command Financial Specialists. I said, oh, sounds interesting. I like to deal with things that deals with finance. So off I go to the course for a week. Learn a lot of stuff. Learn about all these other resources that's available on base, the Relief Society, the Personal Financial Management Office, the legal, and all the other stuff that supports the Marines financially, like YMCA, USO, where they give out free diapers, free food, and things like that. So I got all that too in 1 week. And before I move on, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Command Financial Specialist real quick. It's managed by the Navy, per the OPNAC, 1740.5 Delta. Each unit, if they have more than 25 Marine sailors, individuals, they need to have one command financial specialist. If they have less, it's not a requirement, but they always recommend for them to get with another command and use their command financial specialist. So 25 up to 75, you need to have one per unit. So each company usually have about 150 or more Marines or personnel. So you need 2 or 3 financial specialists per company. So we're talking about 8 to 12 per battalion. So after the course, when I returned to my unit, I was like, good, I'm going to join one of those 8 to 12 financial specialists. No, I'm joining 2. I'm the other one. So myself and another officer are the command financial specialists for the battalion. 2 people doing the things which 8 to 12 is, are responsible for. And 90% of the time, all the Marines get sent to me because most of them are enlisted. And then the other officers don't want to see that boot lieutenant that went to that 7-day course. They want to see a senior financial guy that has a huge stock portfolio, assets off the yin yang here and there. They want to talk to that guy right there, what to invest in, what to focus on down the road. So the lieutenants, some of the captains will come to me as well to talk about, most of the time, stocks. That's all they think about, stocks. Something quick. And most of the time, I just push them back and say, hey, TSP, C fund, S fund, mutual fund, we'll all have fun. If you go towards the stock route, yeah, you have fun short term, but in the long term, you'll be unhappy. I guarantee you that. And I've been through that route because of my curiosity. It always ended up not being good. Like, for example, day traders. People will be like, hey, I'm making money. I'm trading either stocks or crypto, a quick flip. Just like beginner's luck in a casino. After 5 years, you lose all your money. If you can make up to 5 years. So per the stats, only 1% make it up out alive day trading after 5 years, 1%. And that 1%, guess who they are? They have masters in finance engineering. They work in a hedge fund. They have all the fancy software for them to, beat the market by slightly. But without all that, your chance of winning is less than 1%. And if you're part of that 99%, it means you lost all your money. 99%, in 5 years, you lose all your money. And there's always that 10% that jump off the buildings because they lost more than they could handle.
I'd say. So what's one trend that you saw throughout your time at the Navy Marine Relief Society and as a command fire specialist? What's one thing that you can see?
Yes. So as a command financial specialist, I can tell you who I sent to the Relief Society. Unfortunately, we usually sent the backbone of the Marine Corps to the Relief Society just because they're in so much debt. Usually the lance corporals, the corporals, and the sergeants.
That's the most foot traffic you'll see. But what was the biggest thing that they were going through as a collective, right? Generally speaking, that probably this generation is probably going through at the same time. And what you can touch on is in terms of advice for that that generation or that generally speaking.
Yes, the current generation is just too much credit. And the accessibility to all these credit out there, not just from credit cards, is also from personal loans. As long as you have that military paycheck, they'll give you a lot of credit.
Yeah, Navy Federal, Navy Federal's one.
Exactly. And people on the investing side with the trading apps, they have margins. They could borrow against margin to invest and borrow money to gamble. So there's credit everywhere. So they'll come to us. Initially, they'll be like, I need to borrow some money to take care of debts, credit debts, and we don't help out with that. However, if the credit debt is causing you to not put food on the table, you're behind on rent, can't do maintenance on your vehicles, can't take care of medical expenses, then we can help you out. Most of the time, they'll come for the $1,000 quick assist loan. It's for active duties only. They'll walk in, takes about 15 minutes, and they're out the door with an interest-free loan up to $1,000. All our loans are interest-free, and some of them will become grants. And for some, I'm proud that they come to us. I'm happy for assistance, like those unfortunate things. Red Cross messages. A loved one passed away or about to pass away. They'll come in, and most Marines don't know this until we go do those public relations and let them know about this a service that we offer. Is that once they receive a Red Cross message and they leave approved, just come see us. We will help them out with a plane ticket, get them a cheaper, discounted plane ticket through American Express. It could be 30% cheaper, 50% cheaper. And we also give out a loan to them, anything that relates to funeral expenses. Everything. Just push them out the door, go see the loved one, and then when they come back, we'll talk about the budgeting and the repayment. And if they don't have the means to pay back, we'll convert it to a grant. So they don't need to pay back.
That's good. If you're listening out, too much credit. Don't get enough. Don't get too much. Just get what you need. And I think it's like 3 to 5 credit cards, right? Max is what the recommendation is. If I'm not mistaken.
Max is however your mentor thinks you can handle, not what you think you can handle.
Yeah, right.
You're the real mentor. So if you don't have a mentor, like I said, your finance professor, or if you're in a military base, your first mentor should be that command financial specialist. And if he's not available or he's not savvy, then come to us, to the Relief Society, and schedule a budget counseling. And then we will train you on things like that. And then we also have referrals on base to other folks. If you're interested in call buying, investing, we have the base financial counselors that will help you out. Everything you need financially are offered on base, and they're free. Don't think of it as free, like out in town free, where they'll rip you off at the end. On base free is earned benefits. You earned it. There's a money behind it. You earned it, and the quality is good. We all getting paid for it, and us volunteers, we get paid for helping you because we already met our net worth goal. In order to be further happy, is to be generous, to help other people.
That's good.
That's when we're happy. Yeah.
Let's I know we're short on time, so we gotta make this happen, Alex. We got some frequent financial issues with military, right? We talk about relocations, deployments. There shouldn't be no financial issues during a legitimate deployment, not a UDP, but a legitimate forward deployed, boots on ground. Unforeseen expenses. You got a bunch of other plethora of things that could affect a military member. In terms of relocation, touch on that and talk about how those associated expenses play a friction point for service members. I know they get paid. I'm telling you right now, I know there's good money to be made during a relocation if you do it right. But do you ever see, or you ever talk to military members, the backbones of the junior corporals, the corporals and sergeants, relocation expenses, and some of the burdens they face with that? Have you seen a lot of that?
Yes, I do, and most of the time it's on them because they're just spending more on the wants. They go to this new location, they want to buy a home. They want more spaces. They want new furnitures. A lot of wants. At that age, you need to stop, going on and on with the wants. You just need to stick to the needs, because that is not the time. That's the time to save money.
Yeah,
save money. You need to listen more to Dave Ramsey than Robert Kiyosaki. Paying off your debt and save. And if you are. Yeah, and if you're ghetto finance, listen to Susie Orman. Those are the 3 different types of people in the Marine Corps. And as far as raising kids and doing the right things financially, Warren Buffett. And the only thing I can say is that I named my third son's middle name Warren.
That's obvious. That's
obvious enough.
That's
listen
obvious.
To that man. Read his book. A dude is a billionaire. And he raised his kid like the middle class.
Oh, okay, I see. So, let's touch on kids there, Alex. Since you're talking about kids, we're kind of jumping around, but let's get back on the horse here. You talk about Warren Buffett and raising the kids like the middle class. How do you balance how do you prepare your children for independence and adulthood in terms of finance, but still being able to guide them there?
Yes, the best time to engrave, to foster all these knowledge and habits to your kids is when they're 5 years and older. That's the best time to do it. I mean, if you do it after five, it's still not too late to do it as early as possible. Because at 5 years old, five and under, they come out with a blank sheet of paper. Whatever you write down, they'll remember. And whatever you say to them, they'll give you almost like 100% focus. The later in life, you draw it out, they're not look at you. Because they are distracted with all the other stuff that they wrote down on that piece of paper. You know, elementary school, if you talk to them after high school, you're freaking done. You're done. They're not going to listen to you. There's so much influence up to that point. Done, so done. So as soon as they understand what I'm saying, I let them know that, hey, I'm going to pass on the experience. And that's what I received when I was young. And I let them know that I was fortunate to be low income. Because without low income, I wouldn't have the drive like I had today. If someone fed me with a silver spoon, give me allowance money every day, I don't have to pick soda cans, I don't need to train myself at an early age, I wouldn't have the ambition to do what I do right now, to persevere. Yep.
Adversity sounds like a good thing.
Adversity. Yep. Success. You know, if you backward calculate success, is a combination of perseverance and resilience. But in order to get those two, you need to add adversity. Someone has to put that in their life in order for them to experience those two traits. So with the wealth I have right now, I could easily give them anything they want. Dad, I want to eat bite. Easy. Leave me alone. Dad, I want to eat this. Hey, here's some money. Go take care of yourself. That's what most wealthy people do. They want to pay off the kids that they don't bother them. So the adults could go satisfy the habits and addiction. The wealthy peoples have a lot of habits and expensive addiction. Like I told you before, more money, more problem.
That's true. Look, I tell you, you talk about instilling good order and discipline in your children at a young age, right? That's basically what we can say. Now, how do you? We talk about our children and we talk about how we raise them and in this ever changing world, right? How do you navigate challenges of raising your children rapidly now? I mean, you're hold on. We got to, before we get there, we talk about, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking? I know, but for the listeners, 47. And how many 47. Kids do you have? 5. And when did you have your last kid?
A year and a half ago.
40, almost 40s. You turn 46. Let's just say, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, it's never too late for the man to have a kid at 46. Just real quick, what made you have a child at that age?
Because I have the support. As long as you have the support, people, financially, and also your support network, you should be good. I have my in-laws, my father-in-law and mother-in-law, who stay with us. They have their own rooms, so they take care of the cooking and babysitting. They help us. They fill in all the gaps. So when I'm done ass chewing, for that period of time, they help me cover up all the gaps. They are my ring, my surveillance cameras.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And they got the tradition. So their tradition is the same thing: the perseverance, resilience. So they instill those discipline into them as well.
There's a lot of structure there, huh, Alex?
Yes. Like I tell people that if you have kids, just make sure it's not burdening your finance or your mental health.
I mean, that's sometimes it just happens, and that's part of the childbearing.
You need people to help you out. Like for example, the Eskimos and the igloos, they have no mental health because they have mutual support. Everyone lives in that same igloo from like 2-3 different generations. If dad has to go out there to go hunt some seal, grandma's back there taking care of the kids. There's always someone
so you're saying
with the kids.
You're saying buy a house that's relatively decently sized, move all your kin in there. So my 4 all together and their families.
No, you can't do that because you already experienced the privacy of different rooms, because you already open up Pandora's box.
Oh,
The igloo people, they haven't opened up that box yet. They haven't felt privacy. They haven't experienced what we experience over here. So that's their lifestyle. And to them, that lifestyle sucks. But to us, it looks good. Yeah, if we live that lifestyle, it's going to be the end of the world. It's not happening. Yeah.
It's never too late to train an old dog new tricks. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's hard to go backward. And I use that analogy a lot. And I got clients on the side, which I have a different conversation depending on the net worth. And they check back with me every time they reach a certain net worth. So once they reach about 250,000, that's when I introduce the analogy of the Pandora's box. Because how do you open up Pandora's box in the modern world? Money. The more money you have, the longer you can open up that box. In exchange for all that, evilness that comes out, you throw in your hope. Your hope's going to get trapped inside. And that's what happens to a lot of wealthy folks. That they lost hope. They lost hope in their children. They lost hope in life because they have that box opened up. It just introduced them to so much expensive hobbies and addiction.
Those are some challenges. But how did you face? What did you face? What challenges do you face now, as a dad of a 1-year-old, and how do you prepare them and raise them in this current culture where it's like, hate on you, hate on me type of thing, dog on you, dog on me type of thing, and it was a lot more homey when there was a war going on, right? We were a lot more kumbaya, arm locked. Yeah.
Good, purposeful distraction. That's what we need in the Marine Corps, and that's how we gain camaraderie.
Ooh, that's good. Purposeful distraction for your kids. That's awesome. I like that.
Yes. That's why my 3 boys are still sleeping in the same room. Even though we have like 6 bedrooms over here, they have all the individual rooms. But this thing, if they're not complaining that they want the individual room, I let them stay. So far, they want to stay. But if they complain, I still make them stay. I say, if you want to move, if you want to move out that room, go to college or join the military.
And you get your own room. That's solid advice, Alex. You know what? That's a good idea. My 16-year-old is going to share a room with a 2-year-old. I like that. Get ready, Giselle. Get ready, Giselle.
No. Yeah, well, it's different situation, different way of raising kids. But for your 16, if someone has been, the parents been with them since they were born, invest a lot of time into them, they will understand. And they will probably do that to their own kids when they have 3 kids that have similar ages. Yeah. So you say at this modern age, it depends on the environment, because it's easier to raise a kid in the country because there's less Joneses than someone in the metropolis. A lot of Joneses, because they'll see a lot of other kids that buy stuff, that PS5, and they're like, hey, Dad, how come I can't buy that PS5 and we live in the same place, go to the same school? And then you have a lot of explaining to do. So if you want to live in those populated environments, you have a lot of explaining to do if you want to raise them properly. Or you could take the easy way out and just buy it.
Oh, that's good. Wow.
However, if you do that, he will join the other kids to be unsuccessful, undisciplined people later on in life.
I mean, generally speaking, I mean, it's solid, it's sound, it's based 100. I mean, it's factual. Give them good, proper distraction. I like it. That was solid. I'm going to write that down. Yeah, good thing is we video recorded.
There's a lot of explaining to do. Yeah, there's a lot of explaining to do because my kid, even up to now, you see a lot of kids got e-bikes.
Yeah.
So every time he sees an e-bike,
hold on, Alex. I don't see anybody with e-bikes on this base. Stop playing. Where do you live at?
Well, I'm in Oceanside. I live in Oceanside.
Oh, okay.
And me, I need to live at least some, at a comfort level. Yeah. So I need to treat myself a little bit in a HOA gated community.
So you live right outside the base. Got it. I got you, Alex.
Yeah, right outside the base. Yeah. No. Yes, outside the base, that's not gated. The way I want to raise kids, I wanted them to be close to schools where my in-laws could walk into school. So they train them right initially. Then later on, in middle school, they could. Now my oldest son rides his bike to school, but along the way he sees a lot of peers that ride e-bike. So almost every week I need to explain to them the pros and cons of e-bike at this age, at this time. And one of them, I told him, I said, remember that kid a year ago before the e-bike? She was skinnier. Now she's fat as hell. And do you realize that everywhere she goes, she got that bike glued to the body. The feet are not moving. She just keep on revving on that throttle. And, things like that. I just got to keep it real.
So if this is according to Alex, hey, look, I agree with you. Actually, if you have an e-bike, you're about to be fatter because you don't have to rotate the pedals as much. Yeah. My goodness.
No, that's how I explain to my kids. But
that's solid.
If your kid, if you're a 10-year-old kid, all right, have an e-bike, balance it. Life is all about balance. 1 hour of e-bike. Go do another hour of regular bike running, fun activities.
The bike.
Don't be like this girl. Yeah.
The bike that you had, how when you're 2 to 3 years old, you get that bike with no pedals? They should make that for adults now. That'll tackle obesity real quick.
Yeah. Like a Flintstone.
Yeah, there you go. That's awesome, Alex. Hey, it's obviously that's good advice, good sound advice. I appreciate that because who's telling your kids what to do nowadays, right? There's a lot. It takes a village to raise a kid, and it sounds like you have a good, tight core of people in your circle that assist you and fill in the gaps, like you say. Yeah. That's awesome, and not everybody has that, but if you don't, you got to go look for that because the military is good for it. I'll tell you what, in my short 14 years, I will say that the water is thicker than blood in my case, right? And I find family in the military, and that's who they are. Because we're brothers and sisters in arms, and I'm my brother's keeper, and so are they. And if I'm not doing it, who is, right? So and that's where I find my family, and I appreciate that. Like, keep your circle tight, and if you don't have a circle, go look for one, especially one that can support, that can mentor and teach you in all aspects of life. And who better than senior members in the military, right? Alex, thank you. You're my Rolodex now. I know you know what a Rolodex is.
Yes, of course.
We got to touch. We got a couple more things to touch before we run out of time here.
Yeah.
How long did you serve, Alex?
20 years.
20 years. Okay, you dropped papers at 20 years or 19, right? But ish. You experienced a lot of things in your time, right? We talk key token word. Toxic leadership. When we got to talk about it. Comparably speaking, what are some of the behaviors that you dealt with when you started to when you ended, and how did it change in terms of who they were, in terms of toxic leaders and their behaviors?
Okay, toxic leaders. Of course, I'm a finance guy. I'm tied to finance. We all heard about the trading apps, Robinhood, Ameritrade, E-Trade. And up to 2013, all trades are not free. You have to pay $10, $12 for each trade. So you have to think about it before you trade. So Robinhood came out in 2013. You don't have to pay any fees. You can trade as many times as you want. Long story short, more trade, more losses. That's usually what happens. The more you look at your portfolio, the more money you're going to lose. So the leadership from back then, when I was growing up, we don't have these trading platforms. That's one less distraction from them focusing on training, getting the Marines off on time and things like that. Focus on safety. However, when I was a command financial specialist, and I was walking through the workspaces, I talked to Marines about the finance, and I see some stressful faces, and they're holding phones in front of them, and I say, "What's going on?" And of course, they're gonna talk to me about finance because I talk about that all the time. I'm trading on this stock. I'm losing some money and this and that. And I was like, whoa, you're the senior staff NCO. Why are you doing this during working hours? And you're stressing over it. You should be working on helping your commanders with the fitness reports, getting Marines some PME. I'm not saying, in front of him because he's my, peer, same rank, same pay grade. But for some of the lower pay grade, I'll let them know, saying that, hey, this will hurt you in the long run. This will hurt your Marines in the long run. If you ain't focused on your job 100%, someone's going to get hurt. You need to stop gambling on these apps. So to all the folks out there, if you are looking at your trading apps once or twice a day, you need to delete it.
Wait. I look at my TSP relatively once a week. Once every other week? Is that too much?
Yeah, once a week it's a little too much. We usually for the TSP, because the TSP is just a regular mutual fund.
Yeah.
With different types, the C, large cap, small cap, international. Any mutual funds, those are equivalent to S&P 500.
Yeah.
You only check it annually, once a year, or maybe during economic changes like a COVID, and you want to take a look at it and rebalance.
What about a presidential election?
Allocation? That could be as well. Economic, yeah,
that's
but
crazy.
not weekly, not weekly.
So got it.
Investment should be something that works behind the scenes that will cause minimal stress to you, and also keeping you focused on your day job. Your day job is the most important thing. That's your source to use to leverage credit for loans and things like that. Not getting debt from a credit card. Like people get a balance transfer, 0% credit card, put it in a checking account, and then they use that money to go trade. That's not the way to do it.
Wow.
Kiyosaki, when he talked about using debt to leverage, your investment, he doesn't mean like that. Not borrowing money like that to invest in something that's high risk or gambling. So there's a lot to it. When people come talk to me, we could talk for a lifetime because I would track them.
Are you a big advocate for TSP?
Huge. When I give classes on that, I tell Marines the blended retirement system because that's the class I did the most before I retired for the Command Financial Specialist. TSP match. Do the match first. I know it's traditional, but it's match. You just double your money, and then above that 5%, put it in your Roth IRA. And if you don't want to stress over the market like every day, just put it all in the S&P 500 or the TSPC fund. And just consider taking everything out 5 years before you plan on not doing anything, your net worth goal. If you're 5 years out and everything still looks good, take it out. Because you never know that the next 5 years a COVID might happen. And you're like, oh man, I need to take that money out. But that's the wrong time. So 5 years out, take the money out, from your net worth goal. Yeah, we always want to invest like the turtle. Don't be the rabbit. I tried the rabbit a couple of times. It just slowed the turtle down a little bit more.
That's good. It slows the turtle down even more. That's awesome. Like I tell you what. That's good. That's long term investment, man. You're not doing short term unless you're short term. I don't know. I'm not a short term kind of guy. I'm a long term kind of guy. But got it. Monthly is too much. It sounds like every quarter you should probably check it, huh?
Yeah. So they heard my intro, how much I did and how much impact. If you ask some of my buddies in the military or even back when I was a civilian, they know I'm a frugal guy, aka cheap, and I was always like that. Growing up in the Marines, I go out like once a month, once every 2 months to go party. And then that's it. And then my roommates will take beer every night, go out.
It's a good mentality to have when you're always thinking you're broke when you're really not, and it's just kind of muscle memory at that point.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Most people realize once they reach the net worth goal, they probably don't spend all that money. 99% of the time when they reach the net worth goal, they'll donate more than 10% of the money away. And that's the only telltale sign that someone is actually wealthy, because they do a lot of donations. Not flash you on social media, flashing the rental cars and rental properties and things like that. And the one that's continue to hustle.
So when my TSP gets to 250,000, then I come talk to you or what?
Well, I got different audience. I got people that's a negative net worth. So those are Dave Ramsey type of conversation. Then you got 10,000, 50,000, 100, 250, 500, and then at $1 million, I'll leave you alone. Unless you're coming to me with $1 million the first time, because you're coming with baggages. You're coming to me with a lot of expensive habits and addictions.
Okay. So we're going to 10 to 50 to 100 to 500. Got it. I'm tracking. I got it all. I'm gonna have to sign you up. I'm gonna sign up for a semi-annual meet and greet with Alex out in Pendleton. Go TAD and chop it up with you a little bit. You're in my. I'll tell you what, Alex. You're in my electronic Rolodex for finances. I got you. You're in. It's too late. You're locked in. I'll tell you what. You can't go nowhere unless you change your number, and then I'll find you.
Yeah. Oh well, it's all dictated by my calendar. I throw like 2 or 3 hours on there. But if you want some official, and if you're in a local area, give us a call at the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society and book a bunch of counseling.
Hey, Alex,
1.5 hours with a caseworker. Yeah.
Where can they reach you if they want to know more about finances, know more about what this and that in terms of money, the market, stocks, mutuals, all kinds of things? Where can they reach you at? How can they get a hold of you? How to learn more?
Well, they can get a hold of me for all the resources. I got my calendar invite out there. You got my business card. You can just put that link on there or take a snapshot. And then when they give me a call, my life is easy. I just refer them to whatever, fits them as far as the net worth and the goal in life financially. It could be Military One Source. Military One Source is like the only thing you need. It has everything.
Oh,
everything.
Oh, did you use
Military One Source. Huh?
Did you use Military?
Well, I never used it because it was like
you can't say that.
The process.
Oh,
it was in the process of making when I needed it the most when I was young. Now, when I'm at this position as a command financial specialist, when I was introduced to it, now I know how much it could offer. So I've been offering since day one when I became a financial specialist in 2014. So those are the resources. Everything's on base. If you don't know how to get there, I'm happy to walk you there.
You could get on base though. That's right.
And one last thing, stay away from social media with anything that relates to finance. Like anything from make money quick, real estate, what was that? Multi-family homes, multi-level marketing.
I did see that, yeah.
If you see someone on LinkedIn that's sending you a request, these are to all the senior folks out there. And some of you are guilty as well. Because I see a lot of connections on your profile that have BS financial advisors. Don't tell me a 24-year-old kid have a financial background and experience. Kick his ass off your profile. All you can do is use your network and sell whole life insurances, BS asset allocation for a company that pays nothing for the veteran.
That's crazy.
Stay away from it.
That's crazy.
Everything you need financially is on base. So remember that. Everything you need financially to be successful is on base. Your earned benefits.
Earned benefits. Ladies and gentlemen, the last tool for the toolbox, everything's an earned benefit. That's actually good. Everything that you ever need will be on base. Everything you ever want will probably be on base as well, except not a Ferrari. I'll tell you that. Alex.
Oh yeah. Talk about that. Just take like three more seconds. Yeah, those 3 pictures up here. Those are like one of my 3 of my good milestones in life. So I could like show it to you real quick.
Yeah.
So one, obviously the military retirement. Because I need to get out after 20 years. The military is keeping me sending my big families all over the place. And then my first Ferrari pictures taken in front of the place where I was born in the military, 11th Marines. And then the only non-profits that take care of critically injured military folks, amputees. So my wife and myself donated about $100,000.
Nice.
To the Simplified in America's Fund. So those 3 is what I cherish the most: military, having fun, and helping out the needy.
That's good. Always giving back. It's the blessed life is giving more than receiving. Alex, I appreciate your time, and I'm sure the listeners will have fun with this podcast. And I'll put your link in the bio, and your bio in the link, however it goes. Thank you for coming on, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pit Talk, pulling pits and opinions with your host Gunny G, where service members help service members. Period. Follow, like, subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts, and on all social media platforms. Let me know how I'm doing. Any criticism, good criticism. Take it in bits and pieces. You don't get paid to listen. I don't get paid to run my mouth, but here it is. Alex, shout out. Thank you very much for coming on. We out.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Pit Talk is a podcast featuring active service members who discuss their thoughts and opinions on various issues surrounding military life, current events, and history. The statements heard here are the opinions of its members and guests. These do not necessarily reflect the views of the Department of Defense and are not endorsed or sponsored in any way. Listener, viewer discretion advised.